The original trilogy of FNaF games, aka FNaF 1, 2, and 3, are often considered to be standout entries in FNaF's catalog. Whether you consider them to just be a solid series of games, or the franchise's peak for some reason, it's hard to deny the sheer quality of this iconic trilogy. If you want my opinion, I think the original FNaF trilogy is both really good and a great showcase of FNaF and what FNaF has always truly been about. However, one aspect of these games that I feel is severely overlooked is the gameplay itself. FNaF has never been known for its outstanding or innovative gameplay. However, I think for a trilogy that is so well renowned, no one ever really takes a step back and thinks about how FNaF's gameplay truly works. Until today, of course. Through this video, I'm going to break down the gameplay of FNaF 1, 2, and 3, and explain both what I like and what I think needs changing. Also a reminder that this is all just my opinion. Despite what I might say in this video, I still love the original FNaF trilogy, and if you think these games have perfect gameplay, well, you're wrong, but that's okay. So grab your strangely toxic Freddy masks and glitchy old maintenance panels as we dissect the gameplay of one of indie horror's most iconic trilogies. Starting with FNaF 1, the only real flaw with this game in my opinion is its simplicity. On the surface, I don't really think having simple gameplay is a problem. However, with FNaF 1, its simplicity is a huge detriment to itself because it can be exploited. Quite possibly the most popular strategy for beating FNaF 1 is the light camera strat, where you check the left light, then quickly open and close the cams, check the right light, open and close the cams, and repeat. This strategy is so good that it can be used to beat every single night of FNaF 1 and its 420 max mode, although it doesn't really make sense to use it up until night 3 at the earliest. The way this strat works is basically that because Freddy and Foxy need to be stalled by looking at the cams, although only Freddy requires you to check a specific camera, and the door lights can be used to check for Bonnie and Chica, checking a light, flipping the cams up and down, and checking the other light is able to deal with everyone. Despite this, while I do think FNaF 1's simplicity is a detriment, I do also see it as a positive for not trying to be too complicated as the first game of a series. In terms of characters, I think FNaF 1 could add Golden Freddy, Sparky the dog, and maybe a Bloody Freddy suit as extra characters. Mechanically, I think Golden Freddy would work the same way as he does normally, but maybe he could appear on any camera. Sparky could maybe come from a vent behind or above you, and I think it would be cool if the Bloody Freddy suit acted as more of a distraction, periodically closing and opening doors or calling you as a reference to Phone Guy's death. I'm not sure whether or not these characters should be added to the main 5 nights, but I think having them on night 6 and especially the custom night would be very fun and make things more challenging. So yeah, FNaF 1's only major flaw is its simplicity. Plain and simple. While FNaF 1 only has 4 characters, which led to fairly easy and simple gameplay, FNaF 2 triples that enemy count with 12 characters that can kill you. However, just because the game has 12 characters does not mean that they all work differently. In fact, 9 out of the 12 characters in FNaF 2 all share the exact same mechanic of showing up in your office and forcing you to wear the mask. To put that in perspective, that means that 75%, or 3/4 of the characters in FNaF 2, all behave the exact same way. 75%! And the gameplay loop just involves winding the music box for a bit, putting on your mask as soon as you flip down the cameras, checking the hallway and vents, and repeating that for 7 minutes. I firmly believe that FNaF 2 was definitely rushed a little bit in order to keep up the hype of FNaF 1, and this detail of the gameplay only furthers my belief. And to fix it, we're going to have to go to Roblox. Yeah, of course I'm serious. What are you talking about? FNaF 2 reimagined by Kango Development on Roblox is an amazing FNaF fan game that completely reimagines the original FNaF 2. And one aspect of FNaF 2 that this game absolutely changes for the better is the mechanics. Not only do more characters now have original mechanics, but characters who already had original mechanics are now improved, and on top of that, the game just straight up removes a few characters for better balancing. I highly recommend playing this game for yourself, and in fact, I think the gameplay loop is so well thought out that I think this is a near perfect way to reimagine FNaF 2's gameplay. The only thing I would change is adding Toy Freddy, who is absent from Reimagined. I think a cool way to implement Toy Freddy would be that you need to stall him on the cameras, otherwise he'll go around and open up more vents around the map for the animatronics to use. I think this would work well as more of a preventable inconvenience rather than a threat. I would also make Golden Freddy a custom-made exclusive character, and I would bring in a lot of modifiers from FNAF 2 open source into the custom night. As for the Puppet and Balloon Boy, I would just get rid of them from the main gameplay, and instead give them mini-games to explain their characters. I still love FNAF 2 as a game and all it did for the series, however it arguably has some of the most repetitive and uninspired gameplay in the whole series. While FNAF 2's gameplay was pretty lame, FNAF 3 in my opinion has some of the best gameplay in the entire series. The best way I can describe the gameplay of FNAF 3 is that it's a chess game against Springtrap. However, if you make a mistake while playing, an audience member comes next to you and clocks you with the right hook. The goal of the game is pretty simple. Keep Springtrap out of your office by using audio lures, and avoid phantom jump scares. Having to constantly manage Springtrap while avoiding the phantoms and rebooting systems is an excellent gameplay loop in my opinion, although I do think FNAF 3 is also pretty easy. The only aspect of FNAF 3's gameplay that I don't like is the phantom animatronics, as they all do the exact same thing. If you look at them for too long, they jump scare you and disable a system. I think some of the mechanics like Phantom Balloon Boys work really well, but just like FNAF 2, there's a lack of variety, so let's get to work. Starting with Phantom Mangle, I would make it so that they can only appear in the vents, as it makes them stand out more. Next, I would make it so that Phantom Puppet spawns less often, but if you do look at them, they'll do their little animation and also break the vent snare, which again would make them stand out. Thirdly, I would have Phantom Chica force you to do a short arcade minigame if you look at her, because of how she spawns in an arcade machine. Phantom Freddy, Foxy, and Balloon Boy I think all have fine mechanics. No complaints there. Overall, all FNAF 3 needed was some more variety in its distractions. Besides that, I'd say the gameplay is near perfect. Overall, while the gameplay of the original FNAF trilogy is solid, it suffers from a lack of complex and engaging gameplay and diversity, besides Peak of course. I'm curious to hear what you guys would change about the gameplay of these games, and also let me know if you're interested in a part 2, as I have more ideas for FNAF 4, Sister Location, etc. But anyways, that's all from me. I'm Supersonic, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.